Imagine a country so deeply divided that neighbor fought neighbor, even brother against brother. In 1861, the United States was no longer united. The issue: slavery, power, and the future of a nation. This is the story of the American Civil War, a war that reshaped a nation forever. For decades, tension had been building between the North and the South. The northern states were industrial and opposed slavery's expansion. The southern states depended on agriculture and enslaved labor. When Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860, southern leaders feared slavery would be abolished. One by one, southern states seceded and formed the Confederate States of America. The nation was split in two. The first shots were fired at the Battle of Fort Sumter in South Carolina. War had officially begun. The Union North aimed to preserve the nation. The Confederacy South fought for independence. At first, many believed the war would end quickly. They were wrong. The early years were chaotic and brutal. At the First Battle of Bull Run, the Union suffered a shocking defeat. The Confederacy had strong generals like Robert E. Lee. But the Union had more soldiers, factories, and resources. Still, victory was far from certain. Everything began to change in 1863. First came the Battle of Gettysburg, the bloodiest battle of the war. The Union victories stopped Lee's invasion of the North. Then, Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This declared that enslaved people in Confederate states were free. Now, the war wasn't just about unity, it was about freedom. The war became more intense. Union General Ulysses S. led relentless attacks against Confederate forces. Meanwhile, William Tecumseh Sherman marched through the South, destroying railroads, crops, and infrastructure. This strategy, called total war, aimed to break the South's ability to fight. The Confederacy began to weaken. In 1865, the end finally came. At Appomattox Courthouse, Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant. The war was over. The Union was preserved. Slavery, as an institution, was ending. The American Civil War left over 600,000 people dead, but it also changed the nation forever. Slavery was abolished. The federal government became stronger, and the United States began the long journey toward equality. Yet, the scars of the war would last for generations, a war that divided a nation, but ultimately redefined what that nation stood for.